Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first virtual event of the year. I'm Andrea Tulsidas, a manager in the developer relations team at OutSystems, and I will be your host for today. In this event, we will walk you through how you can make AI your app development advantage. We have a rock star roster of speakers today, and I'm so excited to introduce them. We will have Luis Blando, our Chief Product and Technology Officer, kick things off with his opening remarks. Next, we'll be joined by John Rymer, Principal and Analyst at Analysis.Tech, to deep dive on why AI is so critical for app development. Right after, we will have David Gilkey, one of our leaders of solution architecture in North America, who will show us all the capabilities of Mentor with a demo. And last but not least, we have invited one of our customers to show us how they're using AI in the real world. Before I hand it over to today's speakers, a quick word on housekeeping. On your screens, you will see the slides for today's presentation in the center. You will also be able to reference speaker information and some related resources as well, so make sure to check those out. Finally, please feel free to ask questions as we go along, and we'll do our best to address them after today's session. You will find a control panel at the bottom of your screen where you can find the questions icon and more. Please note that the session will be available on demand and sent to you via email after the live session. Okay, we're ready. Let's kick this off. It's a pleasure to welcome Luis, our CPTO, to the event. Luis, take it away.
Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us. Today is a really exciting day for OutSystems and the global low-code community. Software development, as we know it, is undergoing a pivotal change. AI and low-code are now converging to dramatically accelerate innovation and efficiency by automating key phases of the software development lifecycle. From AI-powered application generation to continuous monitoring and validation. We call the infusion of GenAI throughout the SDLC the generative software cycle. To help us make sense of these changes and what they mean for IT leaders responsible for driving digital transformation, we're bringing you expert insights on harnessing the power of AI and low-code to make previously impossible projects possible. Later, we'll talk about our own AI-powered digital worker that we recently announced, OutSystems Mentor. But before we get to that, we are honored to have John Rymer, a distinguished tech analyst and co-founder of Analysis.Tech, as our first speaker today. With over 25 years of experience, John is known for shaping the low-code category, even coining the term low-code during his 19-year tenure at Forrester Research. Please join me in welcoming John Rymer.
Hello, everyone. Great to be with you today to talk about how AI will supercharge your low-code journey. I'm John Rymer from Analysis.Tech, one of the two Forrester analysts who coined the term low-code, and Analysis.Tech's completely devoted to advancing low-code journeys. So let's level set. Low-code is very well established in enterprises all over the world. The vast majority of professional developers have reported in many, many surveys that they use low-code in at least a portion of their work, if not all of it. And we're talking 70 to 80% here. It is the vast majority. At the same time, low-code is empowering business experts to get deeply involved in software development projects, which is really important because they know the requirements, they know the value, they know what really needs to be done. We're seeing one of the structures for incorporating pro developers and business people into teams called fusion teams. We're seeing that that strategy being used more and more by enterprises all over the world. So there's a lot of good news, but a lot of enterprises are also stuck on their low-code journeys. Primarily what happens is they see low-code as a set of tools, and low-code actually empowers a whole movement, really a revolution in the way that software is developed, delivered, and enhanced and maintained over time. And this movement really enables digital business, and a lot of organizations, because they don't embrace it fully, get stuck on their journeys. So along comes AI, which is really a set of features that low-code platform providers are adding to their products. And we see these AI features as holding the potential to really help organizations get unstuck if they're stuck, and to accelerate towards digital business, very expeditiously. So how? Well, first, there's a set, let's look at the professional developers. There are a set of features that use AI to take away the blank page problem or the blank project problem. So rather than start with just a blank project, or maybe importing a spreadsheet or something for a data set, the developer can start to describe the project either by speaking words or writing words, or perhaps uploading a pictorial description, a document of some sort that describes the project. And then further, there's a conversational approach to refining and extending on those initial definitions. This is a much faster way to start a project and get it moving than with a blank page. In the background, there are also agents within the platform that are advising and helping the developer produce applications that have architectural integrity. They will scale, they will be reliable, etc., because the agents are ensuring that the architecture is solid. Same for performance. Agents in the background that are looking at watching the developers work and ensuring that they don't produce bottlenecks, or they don't overload services, or make other moves that could impede performance as the application gets deployed. What it comes down to here is that developers have to be less expert in the inner workings of the low-code platform in order to be successful in creating really serious applications. The platform itself is smart enough to give them advice and guidance on how to proceed. So the same features also help the business experts who are getting involved in projects, in software projects. There are agents in the background that can, for example, ensure that citizen developers who don't understand info security, to ensure that they don't make mistakes that cause data leaks, for example, and also ensure that whatever the citizen developers are doing on the platform abides by architectural policies and results in applications that have integrity. Shifting to the applications themselves that these developers and teams are building on the low-code platforms, low-code platforms have always been really good at connecting with external applications, services, etc., to further application projects. Well, there's a whole new realm of AI-powered application services that low-code platforms now allow developers to connect to and incorporate their functionality into their apps. Summarization is a big one, whether it's text or numbers. Summarization is a pain that many applications require, and you can rely on a service now to access that functionality. Image and video interpretation, another big one, where you don't have to build that functionality. You can just access it through a service. And then there are all kinds of decision and recommendation services out there that are very, very helpful in business processes. Again, you don't have to build them. You can access them. They're smarter than the old services that were hard-coded or they're just smarter, and you can add them to your applications quite easily. And lastly, we see glimmers of agents that will help you incorporate industry best practices into your projects. This is really important because it has the potential to change the balance between buying and building applications. The advantage of building applications rather than buying is that they can be very, very individualized to your business and what it does and what makes it unique. Buying, there's always a compromise. You have to customize to get to your uniqueness, and there's always a compromise in upgrades and there can also be compromises in cost. So that's a very exciting development that we see AI potentially delivering. We're starting to see the beginnings of that. Okay, every enterprise on the planet is on a low-code journey, whether they recognize that or not. Low-code, as I said, is widely used. Some embrace it deeply. Many just see it as a tool. But whatever your embraces, you are on a journey. And the AI features that we see coming along have the potential to really help accelerate these journeys, maybe get them unstuck, as I said earlier, and really accelerate the path toward digital business. So how? Well, I've mentioned the developer assists, and those apply to business folks involved in software projects as well. I mentioned the AI services that will make applications smarter and more powerful when you incorporate them into your projects. I mentioned some of the governance functionality, architectural advice, security guardrails, etc. But there's much more to governance than those two topics, even though they're very important. There's governance that applies to the software development lifecycle, and are we following the policies that we've established for software projects? Governance applies to helping to manage a portfolio of applications. In many cases, organizations have hundreds of applications. Well, for example, an agent in the background might look at a proposed project and say, hey, we already have built something very similar. Why don't you just reuse that project and tailor it to the new circumstances, rather than build a new application that we have to manage? So governance assistance is a whole world that will open up over time and be very helpful. Generative AI, the modern forms of AI, are also helping us make user interfaces and user experiences much smarter than they have ever been before. So this is we often call these new user interfaces co-pilots. Just think of a co-pilot as a helpful person on the side who's helping you navigate through a task through your user interface. This is particularly helpful for tasks and projects that incorporate functionality from many applications or many services. For the poor user sitting at the UI, they may not be familiar with all of those of the applications that they must use. And so the co-pilot gives them advice and helps them navigate through what can be very complex application landscapes to get the work done. It's a very powerful idea that we'll all be incorporating into our apps in short order. Reusable agents. We know that reuse is goodness in software development. It contributes to quality. It contributes to development efficiency. The new agents coming along that are using generative AI are much more flexible. They can adapt themselves and their functionality to different circumstances other than the ones that they were originally built for. This is really different. There are lots of agents in the past, but they were hardwired to the specific requirements they were originally built for, and it was hard to use them in other circumstances. Well, these new agents are much more adaptable, and they contribute to the potential for reuse, which again is goodness in software development. And then lastly, we're very excited. We're starting to see uses of AI to interpret and understand legacy data structures, UI, and logic and process to help us then rebuild or migrate or reimagine those legacy applications in modern forms. And as we know, legacy applications oftentimes impede our progress towards digital business. And so we're seeing hope that that generative AI will actually help us move off of those legacy applications that hold us back and move that functionality onto more modern, more up-to-date applications. It's a very exciting set of developments. So there's lots of potential here in the new AI features that are coming along in low-code platforms. However, the potential of this functionality does not come for free. As is always the case, we need to organize ourselves to take advantage of new features and make sure that we use them to the fullest extent. So, for your 2025 to-do list, as you proceed on your low-code journey, first and foremost, do not get distracted by AI and let that distraction throw you off continuing to advance your journey. These AI features really give us a chance to double down on our low-code investments and really really move much more quickly to digital business. So there's 3 things to focus on. The first is technology. You've got new features coming along in the low-code platform of your choice, new AI features. Learn them. Learn how they can help you. Learn how they impact your processes and your understanding of how you do software projects. Where can they cut out steps? Where can they help you in creating scalable and highly reliable applications, and so forth. Really get to know the features and understand how they can help your development teams. Second is to focus on the people. The progress towards digital business really requires that we incorporate business experts into our software development projects. Period, full stop. This sometimes will mean citizen developers who build things, business people who build applications without a lot of help from pro developers, but it oftentimes will be pro developers working with business experts and both of them having responsibility for successful outcomes. And fusion teams is a great way to pull that off. So if you aren't empowering your business people yet, 2025 is the time to do it. It's the year you do it. Fusion teams, I would recommend as a good place to start if you are really just starting. And if you've already started down this path, continue to really bring more and more of the business expertise into your software development projects. And these new AI features will help you govern those efforts and will help ensure the productivity of both the pros and the business people who are involved in projects. And then lastly, you've got to take a look at your processes, your software development life cycles, your processes for starting projects, for evaluating projects. The speed, AI has the potential to really increase the speed with which you can deliver software. That means you've got to make sure that the projects are valid, that they are valuable, and that they're worth doing. You want to make those judgments early on rather than later. And it also means that you're incorporating computer reasoning into your applications at a much higher level. And you want to make sure that your processes ensure that that computer reasoning is effective. With AI, there are downsides. Sometimes computer reasoning can produce what's called hallucinations, which is just inaccurate conclusions or made up facts. And you want to make sure that your processes account for those risks, as well as embrace the potential of those new AI features to really advance your projects and your progress toward digital business on your low-code journey. And with that, I'll thank you for your attention and wish you Godspeed on your low-code journeys in 2025.
Thanks, John. Your insights into the transformative possibilities of artificial intelligence and low-code perfectly align with our vision for AI-powered software development on OutSystems Developer Cloud, ODC. In fact, there are 2 things that John talked about that really resonated with me. The first is that AI can help low-code teams get unstuck and accelerate their digital journey by resolving the blank page problem, using conversational prompts or written documentation to convert their ideas into software. We recently announced the general availability of OutSystems Mentor, a first-of-its-kind AI-powered digital worker that runs on ODC and supports developers every step of the way. from application generation to delivery and monitoring. A key part of Mentor is the ability to generate an initial version of an application from a single prompt or by uploading a product requirements document. The resulting impact is a massive gain in productivity, plus the creative benefits of turning a simple idea into working software. A second point is how artificial intelligence will help to bring people together to the application creation and ideation process. Developers, business technologists, and domain specialists all seamlessly collaborate from discovery, design, development, and maintenance. This keeps IT efforts closely aligned with business objectives and ensures the solutions are customer-centric, solving critical business needs and delivering better outcomes. From our early access program, we've already seen that Mentor on ODC has helped to boost collaboration and compress the cycle times for vetting new ideas and building working prototypes and POCs. Most importantly, though, we believe that any AI development approach is only as good as the platform it runs on. Developing mission-critical applications requires more than just AI-infused functionality and a team of skilled programmers. Modern digital businesses call for a complete platform approach, one that ensures robust version control, stellar performance, advanced security, compliance, effective governance, and more. To learn more about Mentor and the value it brings, our next speaker, David Gilkey, will walk you through this innovative capability available on OutSystems Developer Cloud and show you how it works. Please join me in welcoming David Gilkey.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is David Gilkey, and I am pleased to introduce to you Mentor, AppGen, and App Editor. Mentor is your AI-powered digital worker for the entire SDLC. So how does Mentor work along IT teams? It allows you to go ahead and generate a full multi-screen application leveraging GenAI. Allows you to iterate on top of that application and evolve your applications leveraging AI-powered suggestions. Additionally, it allows you to validate and maintain apps using AI-powered reviews. So some of the problems that Mentor solves are creating initial designs and validating app prototypes is time-consuming. Converting product requirements to functional code is often challenging and prone to errors. Focusing on both initial creation and complex tasks is hard for developers with limited time. And developing apps in their early stages can be expensive. And coding basic features before moving to more complex tasks wastes resource asks. And taking a look at these frequent problems that Mentor solves, how many of these issues are you as an organization already facing today? So diving into some of those key capabilities, and first we're going to take a look at Mentor App Generate. So taking a look at App Generator allows you to transform your app from ideas into an application in a matter of mere moments. It allows you to define your application in natural language, leveraging a prompt. And don't worry if additional context is needed, Mentor will handle that. Get a working application complete with code, data models, business logic, and UI. So the app definition in a prompt allows you to go ahead and describe your application's use case and its requirements. You get a customizable structure for your app after Mentor interprets your prompt. And you can set parameters and Mentor generates the initial version in just a few moments. Some of the contextual data and grounding is that Mentor App Generator uses RAG framework to get additional context from external data connections to systems such as SAP and Salesforce through OutSystems Developer Cloud. Existing OutSystems application components in the factory theme, as well as the uploaded requirements document. With Mentor App Generator, you get a full stack app delivered with the data model and entities, screen, roles and data rules, simple dashboards, data import and exports, sample data, as well as a simple theme. So diving into the ability to iterate and evolve your applications leveraging the AI-powered suggestions. And thinking through this is that you built your first application, but how many times have you actually wanted to modify that application? Or to say it more eloquently, how many times has that application been absolutely perfect the first time building it? I've never encountered it. So taking a look at Mentor App Editor, it allows you to iterate and optimize your application with smart, context-aware suggestions based on AI analysis of the initial version and data. It allows for effortless refinement without risking stability or frequent publishing. Additionally, simple role-based security and workflows for governance that won't slow down development. App Editor allows app suggestions from AI, such as adding objects and creating the screen entities and the screens thereafter, modifying data models and visuals, managing static entity lists, as well as updating security roles. It allows for that effortless refinement, and the app overview displays application data. It allows you to go ahead and have true-to-life displays of the screens that include the generated sample data. Additionally, suggestions are applied immediately and they're visible across all the screens with that sample data, and additional refinements can be made in ODC Studio. Role-based security. So it allows you to display the roles that are existing or generated through AppGen. Add, change, or delete roles, as well as adding a role results in applying necessary access control on the application, such as screens or conditional visibility, automatically through AI. So going on to the validate stage of Mentor's key capabilities. And when I think of validate, we want to make sure that the application continues running as smooth tomorrow as it does today. So introducing Mentor Code Quality, and it allows for an in-depth code analysis, automatic code reviews, and allows you to collaborate with your team on the various fixes to go ahead and ensure that the application continues running smoothly. So what is Mentor already delivering today? And here are some of the insights from the EAP or Early Access program that Mentor has already been in. 15 screens in 20 minutes. So Mentor generated a functional prototype of an employee management application, drastically reducing the time needed for initial prototyping. 60 to 70% of an application generated in mere minutes. So Mentor created a product compare app based on uploaded documentation and saved significant time on CRUD operations in the initial app setup. And additionally, 40 to 50% of time saved. So Mentor successfully parsed user stories and technical PDFs to auto-generate app components, eliminating repetitive manual work. Once again, thank you. My name is David Gilkey, and I'm going to jump into the live demonstration of Mentor AppGen and Mentor App Editor. As you can see, I'm greeted by OutSystems ODC, or OutSystems Developer Cloud portal. I can come up here into the right-hand corner and select Create and Create with AI. I'm immediately taken to OutSystems Mentor App Generator, where I can go ahead and type in a text-based prompt, leverage one of the examples that are listed right here, or upload a requirements document, which is what I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to go ahead and select Claims Management Solutions and kick off the natural language processing on that requirement document. So natural language processing is actually going through that Word requirement document and pulling out the different data sources as well as different data roles that will be needed for this application. And as I can see, it's pulled out the different data related to the claim management solution, and I can go ahead and modify it if I wish as well. But I'm going to go ahead and generate this application and kickstart Mentor App Generator to go ahead and leverage a couple of moments to go ahead and build out the application. And in the meantime, I'm going to walk you through that Word requirements document and show you what the application requirements document looks like behind the scenes. And I just went out to ChatGPT and downloaded a Word requirements document for an insurance industry around claims management solutions. And it's an application requirements document that states insurance companies require efficient tools to process claims, detect fraud, and manage customer satisfaction. Some of the key features are claim submission and tracking, fraud detection system, document management, approval workflow, and customer notification system. Some of those key personas that we already saw get pulled out by Mentor App Generator via the natural language processing are policyholders, claim adjusters, and fraud investigators. And thinking of how we're going to process through this application, the business flows are: a customer submits a claim. The system performs initial validation and flags potential fraud, and the adjuster reviews and processes that claim. So thinking of a very simple application requirements document and thinking of your own organization, I'm sure you already have application requirements documents very similar to this one. I'm sure you also have knowledge workers across your organization that could type in a prompt to turn an idea into an application in a matter of mere moments. So let's go ahead and check in on Mentor App Gen to see how that generation process is coming along. All right, so it looks like we're approximately 70% done in relation to creating this application. And thinking of a conversation that I had with OutSystems Chief Operating Officer Carlos Elves last week, I'm thinking of the time saved by leveraging Mentor App Gen, and actually thinking about the paradigm of low code and traditional development as well. And thinking of traditional development, I'm going to say it takes a matter of months to go ahead and develop an application. And arbitrarily, I'm going to say a matter of 36 months. By leveraging OutSystems, we can change that 36 months into a matter of weeks or 36 weeks. Now, by leveraging Mentor App Generator, we can now shorten it into a matter of moments. So going from months to weeks to moments, shifting over to the left, taking that light bulb moment, that idea, and put it in hands of end users that much faster. Now, I had the opportunity of going ahead and demoing Mentor App Generator when I was down at Gartner Symposium down in Orlando. And we were talking about some of the different reasons that somebody would want to leverage Mentor App Generator. And I said from a developer perspective, it solves that blank page problem. Thinking about staring at that blank page, whether you're building out your first computer science program or even writing your thesis, you stare at that blank page for far too long before you can actually put pen to paper and type out that first idea. The other idea that we had while talking about this at Gartner Symposium was hackathons. So thinking of your own organization and thinking of conducting hackathons, you probably have a team of developers that you lock in a room for either a day or even a week, taking those mission critical, those organizational critical ideas and bringing them to life. By leveraging Mentor App Generator, we can actually accelerate that idea, that prototyping of those applications from a hackathon perspective and shifting that focus to the left to those knowledge workers. So that way we can go ahead and have those BAs or those knowledge workers take their ideas and actually test it out to see if it's an idea worth taking forward and figuring out if we should implement. Alrighty, so now we're actually bringing the screens to life and we're going to see on the screen a generated look and feel of the application that was generated with Mentor App Generator. And we're going to see the sample screens where we can go ahead and leverage Mentor App Editor to continue to customize the screens as we see fit. So we can see some of the screens that have been generated by Mentor App Generator right here. Now, from a Mentor App Editor perspective, I can press the plus sign on any of these different categories, and by leveraging natural language processing, I can modify these screens in live time right here. So I can add in from a fraud investigations perspective, the investigation type, for instance. And I'm going to add that in right now, and we're going to see the screens modify themselves right here and there. So we can see that these different screens have now gone ahead and been changed by Mentor App Editor. I'm going to go ahead and publish out this application. In a matter of seconds, we're going to be able to take a look at the application that Mentor App Generator and Mentor App Editor has gone ahead and created for us. Alrighty, so we've seen that the application is now indeed successfully published. I'm going to press the preview button in the top right corner and take a look at that application. And it seems as though I didn't log out of my previous session, so I'm going to log out and log back in. I can see the different sample users that are listed right here based upon an admin, a claims adjuster, a fraud investigator, as well as a policyholder. I'm going to go ahead and log in with one of these sample users now. Alrighty, so I can see the dashboard that Mentor App Gen has gone ahead and created for me. I can see the top 5 policy holders by claim amount, as well as the claim status distribution. I can click into the various different claims and take a look at the different claim statuses as well, and take a look at what we currently have from a context perspective. I can go ahead and see the different notifications as well in relation to this claim, as well as where it currently sits from a workflow perspective. I'm going to log out as this individual and log in as a secondary persona and show you what I see as one of the benefits of leveraging Mentor App Gen. So by logging in as administrator, I'm greeted by, once again, another similar dashboard. But what I'm going to say is the highlight of logging in as the administrator is the ability to go ahead and manage my own application data. So thinking of your own organization and how Mentor App Gen generates sample data for you, you can go ahead and upload context-aware data as well for your own organization. So if you wish to upload your own claim data, notification data, or even fraud investigation data in context of this application, you can indeed do so. Now, the final thing that I'll go ahead and mention from a Mentor demo perspective is the fact that we can now leverage Mentor App Editor to continue bidirectionally edit this application. So I can edit it both in App Editor as well as in ODC Studio. My name is David Gilkey, and thank you again for watching this brief Mentor demonstration. Thank you again.
Wow, am I right? Thank you, David, for blowing us away with Mentor's capabilities. If you want to learn more about Mentor, you can schedule a demo with our team to go through all the incredible things you just saw. Use this QR code on the slide to book your meeting now. I'll give you a couple of seconds for you to scan it. Okay, now to finish off the event with a bang, I'd like to welcome one of our esteemed customers to tell us all about how they're using AI on their day-to-day. Hello, could you introduce yourself and your organization?
I am Roy van der Kerkhof. I am part of NovioQ. I'm one of its founders and its current director, but I mainly serve as architect on projects.
Okay, so how long have you been using OutSystems and what types of applications have you developed with it?
I have been using OutSystems for almost 12 years now. And my background is SAP, so I mainly build applications on top of SAP using SAP data. And that varies from HR, finance, procurement, sales, a lot of factory apps, MES solutions. It's all over the place, what we built.
How do you perceive the role of AI and the future of software development?
I started programming on a mainframe a long time ago. And at that time, I had to wait a full night for my programs to compile. And in the morning, I get the results and fix the errors. And since then, every step in software development has made my life easier. And I see GenAI simply as the next step in eliminating tedious tasks and speeding up my development life.
How critical do you believe it is for organizations to integrate AI into their software development processes?
I think it depends on your business. If you're a bank and you still do mainframes and program COBOL, your entire backframe will still be COBOL. But if you're an innovative company that wants to win in the marketplace using IT, then using GenAI is simply keeping up with the trend and being in front of that.
What aspects of AI integration into development processes excite you the most?
What excites me most is that we develop less, so we have more time to talk to the business. AI, GenAI brings software development again closer to the actual business. And I think that's exciting, that the business gets to have a real say about what IT is without thinking about the complexities of IT.
Can you share any experiences where early adoption of AI tools provided a significant competitive advantage?
Yeah, and that's a hard one because we are now in early access, so we're working on a sandbox. So I don't have any live productive examples of GenAI created programs making a difference in the marketplace. But I can say that the trend itself is really promising. And I foresee a future with a lot more software being developed that you wouldn't develop today or even think about the possibility of having that kind of software.
What motivated you to participate in the Mentor Early Adopter Program?
Who wouldn't? I love getting my hands on new technology and playing around with it and seeing what it can do or what it cannot do, which is just as important. So for me, it's just like being in a playground again. I love it.
What specific use cases or objectives did you have in mind when you joined the program?
For me, it's really understanding how GenAI can fit into a complex software development environment. We mainly work for large enterprise customers, and they have strict requirements around security, about software integration, and seeing how GenAI can fit gaps and grow and absorb and more of these areas. I think that's, for me, really, really interesting.
Can you describe the exploratory use cases you have tried with Mentor?
Well, we started with simple questions like prompting for a complaints app, which I do a lot on stage, just build a complaints app. But again, that complaints app was so much more complex than what I generate myself if I do a presentation. And after that, with our clients, we looked at inspection apps for chemical plants or for regulatory apps, workflows, see how quickly and how well that was generated.
What was your experience like when implementing these use cases?
Well, a bit double in the sense that it didn't always generate what I wanted. So I really worked hard on getting the prompting right, understanding what to ask of GenAI to generate the right program. So there's a learning curve there as well. You can't just say, hey, give me an app that does this. You need to understand what to ask of that app to do the prompting right. So that's one. And the second is, as it is GenAI and it tries to understand requirements, it doesn't always generate the same app if you feed the same document into it. And is also something you need to get your head around, that it's not a fixed art, so to speak. There's a lot of freedom in the AI components to understand your requirement. And every time you feed something in, that might change.
Were there any aspects of Mentor that pleasantly surprised you during this process?
Yeah, there's one. So generating the app, I think, is something that is well understood. But what I was really surprised by is that after you generate the app and you change the app actually yourself, you still have an option in OutSystems to go back to the GenAI and you see the actual changes you've done yourself, and you can again change it using prompting to improve that app. So it's not just generate once and work with in Service Studio, but it's generate once and change it again, either yourself or by prompting again, or a combination. And I think that was a pleasant surprise that that's possible.
In your view, what potential impact does Mentor have on software development processes?
I don't think it can be underestimated what the impact will be. I think we'll see an explosion of software. Once Mentor GenAI becomes so good, well trained, it will generate apps that you can basically use out of the box or with minimal changes. And software development becomes so cheap. I think a lot of companies will start generating apps continuously. So there will be so much more software out there.
How do you envision Mentor influencing your organization's development practices in the future?
Well, what I see is that, like I said, I don't like the tedious tasks of programming. So we can concentrate more on business value. I'd say we become more business analysts than we already are. With low code like OutSystems, you're already very close to the business compared to the old days. Again, programming a mainframe, when you're in the basement, basically 3 steps away from the business. Now you sit next to the business generating things already with OutSystems, but with GenAI and Mentor, that becomes even much better and much. So we, I think, transform much more into business analysts and people who understand GenAI than hardcore developers. We will need some hardcore developers to make it work from a performance point of view, security, all these things. But I think that's going to be the major change for our company.
What additional use cases do you see for Mentor within your organization moving forward?
I think there's no limit. When we talk to our clients, they say we have 1,000 use cases. We simply don't build because we don't have the people, or the investment is not there. So the TCO is not there. When the cost for generating software becomes so low, then all these use cases, like simple ones like allergies of visitors, or having your cleaner walk around with an app to register which rooms are clean, or make pictures of dirty desks where people should clean out their whatever yogurt or coffee. Those things you would never think of building now, but there's a million of these use cases that you can think of going forward.
What risks do you perceive for companies that delay adopting AI-driven development tools like Mentor?
Yeah, risk is not the right word maybe, but I think it's a mindset. If you are thinking of yourself as an IT or data-driven company, like most companies don't see themselves anymore as a cookies company or a beer, a brewery. They see themselves as an innovative IT-driven company. And if you want to be at the forefront of that, then GenAI is the next step, and you want to be a part of it. If you don't, then you'll fall behind.
What advice would you offer to organizations considering adopting Mentor?
At the same, be playful, play around with it, but at the same time, take it very seriously. Like I said, your software volume can explode, and if the wrong people get the hands on that powerful tool, you will have, again, a shadow IT beyond your wildest dreams. That's very hard to control from a quality point of view, integration point of view. So then GenAI again becomes a risk instead of something that will help you grow and build your company.
How would you describe the value Mentor brings to software development teams?
It's more the transformational bit. So you can see there's two ways. Either it speeds up the tedious tasks, which will speed up teams and free up your resource for other tasks. But it's more about the transformation, what the promise of GenAI to build different software or software you wouldn't dream of building before, that you don't even think you could. And I think my main vision is, in the end, is that it will start replacing SaaS platforms, maybe even stuff like SAP. So if you have a company that you've built yourself that's really unique in its DNA, then you probably also want to have software that fits like a suit, that's tailor-made for you. And I think GenAI contains that promise. Not today, but I think it will get there pretty fast.
In what ways do you believe Mentor is revolutionizing the approach to software development?
Yeah, I think the revolution is mainly in, like, low code already replaces a lot of high coding. And if you would use Copilot to generate high code, you could still probably have the same results, but you'll have millions and millions of lines of complex code that's super hard to maintain. If you use GenAI to generate OutSystems style models that anybody can still look at and understand and maintain, I think then you will have a complete revolutionization of your IT development and a democratization as well. Bringing it close to the business, generating anything you want, and still being able to control it. I think that's pretty much a revolution in my eyes.
What a great conversation. Thank you so much for your insights. And thank you to all our presenters. This was such an amazing event with so much incredible content. We have a bunch of questions that have come in, so we'll take a couple of minutes to address what we can today. If we're unable to get to your question, our team will make sure to follow up with you. Okay, David, a couple of questions for you. What type of apps can be built using App Generator and App Editor?
Great question. Initially, App Generator and Editor can support 50 to 60% of internal business applications, primarily CRUD-based applications with integrations into core systems and basic workflows. Thinking state machines and logic, not ODC workflows. Example use cases include IT service management applications, employee onboarding applications, as well as case management systems.
Okay, got it. And how do App Generator and App Editor handle data privacy and security?
Another great question. They adhere to OutSystems' strict security protocols, including SOC 2 compliance. Customer data, including requirements documents, is encrypted and isolated using tenant-specific keys, ensuring compliance with GDPR. Sensitive information is never shared or used to train third-party models.
Okay, understood. And finally, can App Editor be used for all apps or just apps created by the App Generator?
Another great question. There's bi-directional interoperability so that App Editor can be used for the existing ODC applications, regardless whether it's generated or not. There might, however, be reduced productivity on using App Editor with pre-existing applications not generated that do not follow well-established app development patterns followed by App Generator. Bidirectionality means that we can use both the editor as well as ODC Studio to edit apps, so that way you're not constrained in which IDE you use.
That's all the time we have for questions. Thank you, everyone. Just a final reminder before we call it a day. If you want to learn more about Mentor, you can schedule a demo with our team to go through it all. Use this QR code on the slide to book your meeting now. Thank you all for joining us today. We have sadly reached the end of our event. See you all soon.